Imagine a sound. A heavy, metallic clunk followed by a sharp, decisive clack. It's a sound that requires no translation, a sound that has echoed from the frozen streets of Stalingrad to the humid jungles of Vietnam, from the dusty alleys of Fallujah to the sprawling cities of 100 action films. It is the sound of a Kalashnikov rifle being charged. For many in the West, this is the sound of the AK-47, a name that has become a blanket term for terror and insurgency. But the true story is far more complex, far more ingenious, and belongs not to the original AK-47, but to its perfected successor, the AKM. This is not just a story about a weapon. It is a story about industrial design, geopolitical strategy, and a simple, brutal idea that became one of the most powerful and enduring icons of the modern age. How did a rifle designed for the Soviet soldier become the most prolific firearm in human history? This is the journey of the Avtomat Kalashnikova Modernizing. Our story begins not in a state-of-the-art laboratory, but in a hospital bed. A young, wounded Soviet tank commander named Mikhail Kalashnikov, recovering from injuries sustained in the brutal Battle of Bryansk in 1941, overheard his fellow soldiers lamenting the inferiority of their rifles against the German automatic weapons. This sparked an obsession. With no formal engineering training, but an innate mechanical genius, Kalashnikov began sketching, dreaming of a simple, reliable assault rifle for the common soldier. After years of competition and refinement, his design, the Avtomat Kalashnikova 1947, was officially adopted by the Soviet Army. The AK-47 was a revolution. It used a new intermediate cartridge, the 7.62 by 39 millimeters, which was less powerful than a traditional rifle round, but far more controllable in automatic fire than the powerful 7.62x54 mmR used in older rifles and machine guns. This was the future of infantry combat. However, the original AK-47, known for its Type 1, 2, and 3 receivers, had a critical flaw. Its receiver, the core housing for all the moving parts, was meticulously milled from a solid, heavy block of steel. This process was slow, wasteful of material, expensive, and resulted in a robust but heavy rifle, weighing in at around 4.3 kilograms. For a Soviet Union looking to arm millions of soldiers and its entire sphere of influence, this was a logistical nightmare. The solution, arriving in 1959, was the Avtomat Kalashnikova Modernizing, the modernized Kalashnikov automatic rifle, or AKM. The heart of this modernization was a radical shift in manufacturing. The milled receiver was replaced by one made from stamped sheet steel, pressed into shape and assembled with rivets. This was faster, cheaper, and dramatically lighter, bringing the rifle's weight down to a nimble 3.1 kilograms. The AKM wasn't just a new rifle. It was a declaration of intent. It was a weapon designed not just to function, but to be produced in the tens of millions, to be the standard issue for a global communist bloc. It was the perfect tool for a specific doctrine, and to understand that doctrine is to understand why the AKM looks and functions the way it does. If American firearm philosophy could be summarized as a rifle for every specialist, the Soviet philosophy was one rifle for every conscript. After the unimaginable carnage of World War II, the Soviet military was built on the concept of the mass army. Vast numbers of often hastily trained soldiers, who might be farmers or factory workers one day and infantrymen the next. Air weapons needed to reflect this reality. The Soviet design priority was unshakable reliability in the harshest conditions imaginable. The mud of the spring Rasputitsa, the sand of the steppes, the freezing cold of a Siberian winter. Extreme accuracy was a secondary concern to guaranteed function. A rifle that jams is a useless piece of metal. A rifle that sprays bullets in the general direction of the enemy, even if not perfectly accurate, is still a potent psychological and tactical weapon. This led to the AKM's famous loose internal tolerances, the spaces between moving parts are relatively generous. While tight tolerances can aid accuracy, they are also prone to jamming when dirt, sand, or grime enter the mechanism. The AKM's looser fit allows debris to be pushed through the action without stopping the cycle. It is a rifle that prefers to fire dirty than to aim perfectly. This philosophy extended beyond the rifle itself to a grand strategy of standardization. By adopting the AKM and its 7.62 by 39 mm cartridge across the entire Warsaw Pact and for all their allied states, the Soviets created a seamless logistical web. A Bulgarian soldier, an East German border guard, and a Vietnamese guerrilla could all use the same ammunition and magazines. Their rifles operated identically. Training was universal. This was a strategic masterstroke that ensured the Kalashnikov platform would become a global standard, setting the stage for its unprecedented proliferation. Before we dive into its global journey, let's dissect the AKM itself. It is a masterpiece of integrated design, where every component, from the massive muzzle to the solid stock, serves a specific, deliberate purpose. Understanding its anatomy is key to appreciating its legendary status. The barrel and chamber. The journey of a bullet begins here. The AKM's barrel is hammer-forged and chrome-lined, a feature that resists corrosion and wear, allowing it to fire thousands of rounds before accuracy significantly degrades. It features 4 grooves that spin the bullet for stability. The chamber is the snug pocket that holds the cartridge at the moment of firing, containing immense pressure. Pros: incredibly durable and long-lasting. Cons: not designed for match-grade precision. Good enough for combat is the guiding principle. The stamped receiver. Type for this is the AKM's revolutionary heart. This U-shaped piece of stamped sheet metal, reinforced with riveted rails and cross pieces, is what made mass production possible. It is lighter and cheaper than the milled AK-47 receiver. Pros: cheap, fast to produce, lightweight. Cons: can be less rigid than a milled receiver, potentially impacting long-term accuracy and feeling less solid. The trunnions. These are the critical, hardened steel inserts riveted inside the stamped receiver. The front trunnion locks the barrel in place and provides the locking surfaces for the bolt to rotate into. The rear trunnion anchors the recoil spring assembly. They absorb the immense stresses of firing. Pros: provide the rugged strength the stamped receiver lacks. Cons: if damaged, repair is a complex armor-level task. The gas system and piston. Above the barrel lies the gas tube. When a round is fired, a portion of the propellant gas is siphoned off through a small port in the barrel, rushing into the gas tube and slamming into a piston attached to the bolt carrier. This is a long-stroke piston system, meaning the piston and bolt carrier move as a single, heavy unit. Pros: keeps hot, dirty gas away from the receiver and trigger group, making it supremely reliable in adverse conditions. Cons: the heavy reciprocating mass increases felt recoil and can make the rifle muzzle heavy, slightly slowing target reacquisition. The bolt carrier and bolt. This is the engine of the rifle. Driven by the gas piston, it flies backward, extracting and ejecting the spent cartridge case, cocking the hammer, and compressing the recoil spring. The spring then drives it forward, stripping a fresh round from the magazine and chambering it. The bolt itself rotates and locks into the front trunnion, creating a sealed, safe system. Pros: simple, massively strong, and incredibly reliable. The extractor claw is a robust piece that rarely fails. The trigger group, fire control group, this collection of springs, levers, and hooks controls firing. The AKM's trigger group is renowned for its rugged simplicity. It includes the hammer, trigger, disconnector, which enables semi-automatic fire, and the auto sear, which allows full auto fire. Pros: tolerant of immense fouling and neglect. Cons: the factory trigger pull is often long, heavy, and gritty compared to Western counterparts, hindering precision shooting. The safety/selector lever. This is a hallmark of the design. A large, ribbed lever on the right side. It has 3 positions: safe, full auto, and semi-auto. When unsafe, it physically blocks the bolt from moving and covers the charging handle slot, acting as a dust cover. Pros: simple, intuitive, and effective as a dust cover. Cons: it is loud, clunk, slow to manipulate, and impossible to operate quietly or without removing your firing hand from the pistol grip. The stock and furniture. Early AKMs featured solid wood stocks, pistol grips, and handguards. The wood is durable but can swell with moisture and is heavy. The handguards protect the shooter's hand from a hot barrel. Later models switched to laminated wood or phenolic resin, and modern variants use polymer. Folding stock versions, AKMs, existed for paratroopers and vehicle crews. Pros: the fixed stock provides a solid shoulder weld. The wood is cheap and easy to produce. Cons: ergonomics are basic. The stock is often short for taller individuals. The folding stock variants are less stable for accurate shooting. The sights. The AKM uses a simple, robust iron sight system. The front is a post, adjustable for elevation. The rear is a U-notch tangent sight, adjustable from 100 to 800 meters in 100-meter increments. Soldiers were trained to simply place the sights on the enemy's center of mass. Pros: tough, hard to damage, and quick to use. Cons: coarse and not ideal for precise shots at longer ranges. The short sight radius, the distance between front and rear sight, also limits inherent accuracy. The magazine. The iconic 30-round, curved, steel magazine is a key to the AK's reliability. The curve is dictated by the tapered shape of the 7.62 by 39 mm cartridge, allowing for smooth, reliable feeding. Pros: the steel construction is incredibly strong. Soldiers famously use them as hammers, pry bars, and bottle openers. The feed lips are resilient. Cons: early all-steel magazines were heavy. The curve and the rock-and-push motion required to insert a full magazine can be slower than the straight-in motion of some Western rifles. Every part of the AKM was designed with a singular focus, to work together to create a system that would not fail. It is a symphony of simple, robust components, each forgiving of the others, creating a whole that is far greater than the sum of its parts. It is a mechanical reflection of the doctrine that created it. Let's bring this machine to life. Imagine a Soviet soldier in 1960s, his AKM loaded, the selector lever set to semi-automatic. He takes aim, exhales, and pulls the trigger. The trigger releases the hammer, which swings forward and strikes the firing pin, which in turn detonates the primer in the chamber cartridge. The propellant ignites, creating a massive, expanding ball of gas that forces the bullet down the barrel. As the bullet passes a small gas port near the front sight, a portion of this high-pressure gas is bled off and directed up into the gas tube. Here, it acts like a piston in a car engine, violently forcing the gas piston and the attached bolt carrier rearward. This rearward movement is where the magic happens. A cam slot on the bolt carrier engages a pin on the bolt, forcing the bolt to rotate, unlocking it from the barrel's trunnion. As the carrier group continues back, it extracts the hot, spent cartridge case and flings it out of the ejection port. It also cocks the hammer back, compressing the large recoil spring located above the bolt carrier. The cycle now reverses. The compressed recoil spring unleashes its energy, driving the bolt carrier group forward with immense force. As it moves, the bottom of the bolt strips the top cartridge from the magazine and guides it into the chamber. At the very end of its forward travel, the cam slot forces the bolt to rotate again, locking its two lugs securely into the recesses of the front trunnion. The rifle is now ready to fire again. In full automatic mode, this cycle repeats as long as the trigger is held down and there is ammunition, a relentless, hammering rhythm of controlled explosions. And that wraps up today's breakdown of the AKM, a rifle that changed modern warfare and still holds its reputation decades later. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into legendary firearms. Let me know in the comments which weapon you want to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.